dialogues can take place at all with all of the political stakeholders as of right now?
Thank you. Since last 1 year, and even when he was in power, we made an offer of building up some sort of consensus, at least on our economic policies. Now that offer was rejected and spurned by the then Prime Minister. During last 1 year, he has offered to talk several times with the establishment, with the military leadership, but not the political leadership. That is one. Despite the fact that opposition or the present government was willing to talk on so many occasions in last 1 year, but he kept on insisting and went to the extent of that time trying to approach the present leadership of Pakistan Army, and they are not responding. I want to talk to them, I want to meet them. And before that, he spoke to or approached through the President, General Bajwa, met him twice, tried to negotiate with him, even offered him extension for life. It is on record. Despite all that, he has not materially offered anything to the present government for a dialogue or for some sort of negotiations on that. I'll just add one thing to it. We are ready to talk for the sake of peace in our country, for sake of not for only the present government, but the coming generations, that we must have some sort of consensus on major issues which we are facing for last so many decades. We are not in favor of a transactional dialogue. We need something which is comprehensive, which covers everything. There are so many issues. One can debate on that and have perhaps a long debate on that. But in short, what I'm trying to say is that a comprehensive dialogue on the problems Pakistan is facing is always welcome. But transactional dialogue, which does not address the issues this nation is facing today, and perhaps the situation is getting worse by every passing day. So these issues, one must realize that these issues should be addressed as soon as possible.
Yes,
so a comprehensive dialogue, yes. A transactional dialogue, it will be a waste of time.
Minister Asif, D&D from National Public Radio. As you may be aware, Mr. Khan has made multiple interviews to Western media in particular to project his point of view of what's been happening in Pakistan. I'd love to just get your responses to some of the claims that he's made. First, he has claimed that the government is seeking to outlaw him, a claim that was echoed, to disqualify him, a claim that was echoed by Zalmay Khalilzad on Twitter.
Disqualify him?
To disqualify him publicly.
Okay.
He also alleges that there's even attempts to kill him or plans to kill him. I would love to get your responses on that. Just on holding the federal elections, is there a plan to hold the federal elections on time? And my final question, bear with me, is are you concerned that the political tensions now could spiral into more extensive or more violent clashes in the coming weeks or months, based on the very videos that you have aired right now? Thank you.
It's a bit lengthy question, you know.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Let's hope I can keep track of it. Violence, yes, there is every possibility that this violence can, escalate and get into an ugly situation. We are aware of that. That risk is always there, because Imran Khan is a desperate man. He has demonstrated the violence of the sort which we have witnessed in the last few weeks. This has never happened in Pakistan. Violence has taken place during the military regimes, during General Zia regime, and before that during Ayub Khan's regime. But political governments have never resorted to violence against their opponents. Yes, there are victimization and cases and imprisonment, but this sort of violence from an opposition party, organized violence against the state machinery. So this is something which is unprecedented in our history, despite the problems we have had over the last 75 years. But this can spiral into something little, obviously ugly, and but government has the power and the will to control any violence which is triggered by Imran Khan and his supporters. Coming to his allegation that IG Islamabad or IG Punjab or Chief Minister Punjab, they are conspiring to murder him. This whole thing is so scandalous. This allegation. He's just trying to create some sort of atmosphere where his followers are ready to believe anything he says. You know, it's like a cult. You know, the world has witnessed over decades and centuries where people have, the leaders have created cult, and people have followed them blindly, believing everything they say. So this sort of cult following is here in Pakistan also these days, but this will fizzle out, and this allegation of conspiring to murder him, I think this is stretching a bit too far. The sort of lies he has been fabricating over the last 1 year, starting with Cypher. I'll again say that on one hand he's he was accusing General Bajwa of conspiring against him or aiding his opponents, and on the other hand he was offering him extension for life, and then accusing the United States of America of conspiring against him, taking even names, and now he's again flirting with the American government through lobbyists, and approaching them for some sort of intervention or some sort of aid or help, because they are being victimized, so-called victimization of PTI in Pakistan. So he'll tell you one thing today, and tomorrow he'll tell you something which is diagonally opposite, completely opposite, So his utterances are completely irrational. Perhaps his followers do believe whatever he says, but most of the people have lost track of what he has been saying over the last 1 year.
Voice of America. She had a third question, whether the government does plan to hold the national elections.
Obviously, national elections are due in October, and they will be held on time.
Now I will follow up on that question. They were due also on the 30th of April.
And there were no national elections, provincial elections.
Punjab provincial elections were due on 30th of April. Then the
decision has been taken by the Election Commission. They are, according to the Constitution, that is the body which is supposed to hold the elections and empowered to hold elections.
But that very order has been called into serious question. The IMF has rejected the claim that it has anything to do with holding of any constitutional practice in Pakistan, like holding of the Punjab elections, number one.
IMF?
Yeah.
No, I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, they gave a press release.
Because this is a factor mentioned in the election order, that because of the understanding with the IMF, the government is unable to provide funding for the elections. That's number one. Number two, the prevailing law and order situation was cited in the Election Commission order. And in that order, the briefing about the security was given to the Election Commission on February 8th. And the incident cited in that briefing happened a week later on February 16th, the Jaffa Express bombing. So there are serious anomalies in this election order, and you're still defending it.
No, but let me, since February, in last 1 month or couple of months, the security situation has definitely deteriorated, We lost a senior army officer day before yesterday to terrorism. The terror incidents have increased. They have escalated over the last 2-3 months. So that's not something, the evidence is there. That's not something which is something of our imagination or something which we have concocted or invented, So security situation is there. I'm not aware of that, but definitely I'm aware of the fact that Ministry of Finance said that under the present circumstances, we are going through some very tough time, financially speaking. So we will not be able to provide funds for elections, which are, if you hold these elections now on 30th of April, and then again in October. So you are providing funds for the elections twice in a year. Secondly, the commitment which our army has at the moment because of the internal and external threats, they said that deployment for almost 1 month. It takes about a month to deploy forces for elections on polling stations, and especially the static duty. They have to take over the polling stations as it happened in 2018. They manage the polling station. So that sort of duty, they showed their inability to man the polling stations. So these 3-4 reasons were stated by the Election Commission, and these reasons were given to them by the federal government. And based on these reasons, they have decided to postpone the elections till October, and they are given the new date, which coincides with the national elections, the federal elections.
From AKB and DW.
My question is regarding the letter Shri Mizari has written to the Human Rights Commission. The concern is in the initial, they were bringing up the cipher issue and all that, and they were against the intervention. But now they are themselves
seeking support from
the international organizations to intervene and resolve this issue. Where do you see this is taking our country to? This is the right approach? At first you were against their intervention, and now you are approaching them themselves?
You can add on to that.
This says in reference to the letter again. We do see maligning the image of Pakistan as far as the international forum is concerned. Pakistan is already in a very vulnerable state, right? And we can't afford any such things. All the contradictory statements given by Mr. Khan in the past as well, they're not really making sense if you look into it, practically and pragmatically speaking. So what is going to be the government's plan of action as far as a buffer strategy is concerned, as far as mitigating any negative impact on the country is concerned?
As I said earlier, that Madam Mazari, her party in last 1 year, almost for 7-8 months, they were accusing United States of America for dethroning Imran Khan. And they even took the name of an official in the State Department. Actually, I met this gentleman in September in the United States, and he tried to introduce himself to me, that I'm Donald Lu. You are very well known in Pakistan. You don't need any introduction. So there is this sort of attitude. You know, I have the parliamentary career of almost 33 years. I have never gone to a foreign government whenever I was victimized, you know. I was imprisoned by General Musharraf. I was in Atak Fort. A political prisoner or a political worker cannot even imagine what sort of the cells and dungeons are there in Atak Fort. It was built in 1561 by Shahanshah Akbar. So we never appealed to a foreign government or United States of America. And after accusing them for almost a year of conspiring against PTI government, you then seek help from the same people, from the same country. So I think it's a disgrace for any political party or a political worker even to seek foreign help for whatever he's. I think my commitment to whatever I believe in should be sacrosanct, and that should be within the ambit of my commitment to my country, to my ideology, whatever is that. And seeking help from abroad is, I think, it's treacherous, and it amounts to me. It amounts to betraying my country. They can fight it out. We can all fight our battles within the ambit of within the norms, political norms of whatever we have in this country. I will never. Tomorrow, these people can even appeal to people across the border for help, you know, or some other countries who are. They actually declared the United States of America enemy of PTI or enemy of, and now they, I think they can do it. They in this, if I can say that they're absolutely shameless, you know. That just few months back you were accusing a country of conspiring against your government, and now you are seeking help from the same country, hiring lobbyists over there. And people, the politicians over there, the government has not spoken, United States government has not spoken against Pakistan, or they have not commented on our situation, political situation in Pakistan. But there are politicians over there, or former diplomats over there, who have commented in favor of Imran Khan and his party, which again, you know, they have lobbied over there, asked people over there to give statements in their favor, which again I think it's not very respectable for a political worker to go and seek help from abroad and ask the politicians over there to give statements in their favor. And you know, seeking help, and they are speaking, the politicians or congressmen or senators or diplomats are speaking in their favor. I think they should, those people who are commenting on the situation in Pakistan, they should also think that Pakistan's situation is, alhamdulillah, is much, much better. It's peaceful. We have our government. It's an independent country. What is happening in Kashmir and Palestine? Why don't they speak on that? What is happening over there? The genocide is taking place in these on these two locations. You know, they should speak about that. Mr. Zalmay has spoken about Pakistan's situation. There are people, tens of thousands of Khans are in transit in Pakistan. They have become a liability for us. He should be speaking for them, that they should be sent to America as soon as possible. That is what the arrangement calls for. These people are in transit. Tens of thousands of people. There are close to 200,000 people in Pakistan who were brought to Pakistan after the fall of Kabul to Taliban's, and they're still here. Why don't they speak about them? Why don't Zalmay speaks about them? He belongs to Afghanistan. He owes it to them. He should speak about them. He should actually speak to his government about them, that they should be repatriated from Pakistan as soon as possible. Pakistan is already, burdened with 5 million Afghan refugees, they have actually swamped our economy over last 40 years. So we want to live in peace. We want to live in peace with Afghanistan, with our neighbors. But these liabilities, it's time that these liabilities which are on our shoulders, these liabilities should be liquidated.
Harun,
from Independent Urdu, coming back to the election, holding of elections question, are you, by defending the Election Commission's decision, not creating a very bad precedent constitutionally of delaying elections and not holding them within 90 days? And the second question is about this new task force that has been created. Do you have any details you can share about to stop criticism of establishment, the military and other news today on social media?
No task force has been created to whatever you were saying, I'm not aware of any task force. A committee has been formed, I'm aware of that, I think there are 4 or 5 members of those, whatever arrangement has been made. But no task force, I think task force, the word task force, translates into something else, So the other question, whatever was required by CEC from us, Chief Election, or by the Election Commission, the relevant quarters showed their inability to provide the army for manning the polling stations and providing the funds. On basis of those two and other reasons also, the decision was made by Election Commission. It's a constitutional body. They are independent to make their decision. And I think the elections have been postponed and the new date has also been announced. So I just heard that PTI is going to challenge this decision of Election Commission to postpone the elections. So it now falls in the ambit of judiciary to decide this question. So we'll rest our case, and obviously the opposition also. We'll defend that. We'll defend the Election Commission, will defend their, and obviously the federal government.
Sir,
I'll come back.
From NPR. PTM has always demanded that the establishment should be within its domain. And there are critics who believe that in Pakistan, from Zaki to Nawaz Sharif and Nawaz Sharif to Imran Khan, all politicians have been planted in the nursery of GHQ and then they had fallen out. And now PTI is also demanding that intelligence agencies establishment should be in their constitutional limits. Don't you think that this is an opportunity?
वज़ीर दिफा ख्वाजा आसिफ और वज़ीर इत्तलाआत मरियम औरंगज़ेब की गैर मुल्की मीडिया से गुफ्तगू आपने मुलाहिज़ा की।
वक्त हुआ ब्रेक का।